Hey guys, welcome back to Arlie at Home. I'm Arlie. We're in the kitchen today. We're going to be getting ready for that super important time of year that we've all been waiting for, and that's back to school. So to help with the transition of having to wake up a lot earlier and get the kids ready and everything like that, I'm going to show you guys how to make some make-ahead breakfast that will help with that. All you have to do is pop them into the microwave or into a toaster oven and it'll be ready to go, so you don't have to scramble in the mornings to make breakfast and get everybody ready to go at the same time. So we're going to get started super easy. It's just a matter of making a whole lot of stuff and then prepping little things here and there. So I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, we're going to start this off by browning some turkey sausage. I buy the Jennie-O, let me see if you can see that. I buy the Jennie-O turkey sausage. It's lean, it's natural, it's great, I love it. And that's just a personal preference. Sometimes we buy pork, but most of the time we buy turkey. Feel free to use whatever kind of meat you feel comfortable with, or no meat at all. This can be substituted for plant-based. And I'm just going to squeeze it in. This is a 1 pound package. Get all of it in there. And we're just going to break this up so that it cooks into crumbles, because this is going to be separated into many different dishes. Okay guys, so while the breakfast sausage is browning up, let's get started on our eggs. Now I buy a lot of eggs, but that's okay. You don't have to buy this many, but think about it. It's worth the money when you really consider what you're getting. There's so many ways of preserving eggs, and you can cook them ahead of time like I'm doing today, that it's worth the value. So what I'm gonna do is crack around 30 eggs. Well, I'll probably have to do it in batches into this blender. And that's how we're gonna whisk our eggs to make our scrambled eggs. Because we're not just gonna cook them for the egg bites, we're gonna add it to breakfast sausages, we're gonna add it to breakfast sandwiches. So I'm gonna use all of that egg today, all at once, and we're gonna prep this so I don't have to do it during the week. "30 eggs. That was a lot easier to scramble the eggs. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Way better than sitting there with a whisk just like all day long. No. 2 seconds in the blender and we're good to go. Okay guys, so we're making the egg bites in these tiny muffin tins. And I'm just gonna spray it lightly. I know I'm making a mess in my kitchen, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna be making a mess all day in here, so it'll work out. Okay. To assemble this, we're gonna take our cooked sausage crumbles and we're just gonna put a little bit into each one. Perfect. So now we're just going to come in here, right angle, this a little sideways, just like that. And that's it. That's how we're gonna fill it. Just to the edge. What? And just like that, TV magic, they're all ready to go. All right, so the tops, now that they're all filled, we're gonna put just a couple pieces of cheese. I'm using an extra sharp cheddar just so that it imparts a little extra flavor because they're such tiny bites. You can use whatever cheese you like or your kids like. Okay guys, so these are ready for the oven. I'm going to put them on a sheet tray just because I know they're going to puff up a little bit, and we're going to place them into the oven at 350. Okay, for the rest of the dishes, like for the breakfast sandwiches, we're going to pour the egg into this 9x13 dish, and we're going to cook that in the oven as well, so that we can slice it into squares and put it onto the sandwiches. So here I have a cup and a half, cup and 3/4 of scrambled eggs, just so it coats the bottom completely. And we're going to place that into the oven as well. Okay, next step. The last, well, the third to last bit of the eggs. Okay, they're going to go into this pan that I have sprayed a little bit of our canola oil into, and we're going to scramble those up. Those are going to go into the burritos. So while it's nice and warm, we're going to pour the majority of this egg in here and leave this tiny little bit, just less than a cup of scrambled egg in there. That's going to go for our French toast. So we're just going to cook this up all the way until they're firm scrambled eggs. Okay guys, I've also separately taken just a small bag of tater tots and put them into a dish, and we're going to pop these into the oven as well. So while everything else is baking and cooling, let's work on the custard for our French toast sticks. So here we go. We have 1 cup of scrambled eggs in here, and we're going to add 2 cups of milk. I use a skim milk or a 2% milk. You can use whole milk, oat milk, soy milk, whatever kind of milk you like to use. And then I'm going to add to this 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and a couple dashes of cinnamon. That ends up being about a teaspoon of cinnamon. If you don't have plain cinnamon, if you have pumpkin pie spice, go ahead and add that in. That'll be delicious as well. I'm going to seal this up, and we're just going to whirl it on low just to combine everything together. That custard base is now ready to go. Okay, so the coating, let's prep that as well for the French toast sticks. We are going to use plain panko breadcrumbs, nothing seasoned. These are plain, they have no seasoning to them whatsoever, because we're going to do that ourselves. See? There's nothing to it. So we're just going to add about 2 cups in here. You can always add more later. Let's do about 2 cups. And then to this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar and a dusting of cinnamon. This is going to coat the outside of the French toast sticks. This is what makes them look crunchy, like the ones you get from the freezer section that they look like they have a little crunchy coating on the outside. This is what it is. And that's it. We'll get our breads ready so we can dip into the custard and then into our crunchy coating and get it ready to go. Our egg bites are ready to come out. Look at how sweet that is. You see how they've kind of pulled away from the edges? They're all puffed up and beautiful, cheesy on the top. Now they just have to cool. Let me check on our egg. That is also ready to go. So we're going to take that out, put that up here as well. And now we're just waiting for these guys, our stragglers. Those always take a little. But we're almost there. We're almost at assembly time. Okay guys, so the tater tots are cooling right now and everything is just about ready to assemble. I've toasted some sliced bread and we'll get into that in a second, sorry. So let's get started on assembling the breakfast sandwiches. For the breakfast sandwiches, we're going to be using English muffins. I buy these because they're already split open, so it makes life just a little bit easier. I know it says to open it on the top, but I'm going to be using the whole package. Here we go. So you see each one comes split already, so it makes it a little bit easier on myself. Now for these sandwiches, this is the egg that we're going to use. This is what I made this egg for. Because now what I do is cut it down the center. And that's 6 pieces of egg that's going to go into the sandwiches. This is what your piece of egg is going to look like. It's like a sheet of egg. Kind of like you get from the fast food restaurants, only this is better because you know what you put into it. For these sandwiches, I'm going to use Canadian bacon. All right, so each sandwich gets a piece of the bacon. We're going to do 1 slice of American cheese. And again, this is subjective. Whichever one you want is what you're going to use. Then you're going to put your piece of egg on top of that and put the lid on top. And that's it. That's our breakfast sandwich. We're going to assemble all of these and then wrap them up and place them in a freezer bag. Okay guys, so let's work on packaging up these sandwiches. We're going to take a sheet of plastic wrap and just set it down like that. And then a napkin. I like to use these. If you have paper towels, that's fine. We're going to set that there and put our sandwich in the middle. And we're going to wrap it in the napkin, seam side down, and then do the same thing with the plastic wrap. Nice and tight. And that's one sandwich ready to go. So that's it guys, that's 6 sandwiches ready to go. All right guys, so I use the gallon zip top bags. I always write what the product is that I'm putting into these bags, plus the date that I made it and the instructions on how to make it. For example, with the breakfast sandwich, I write to remove the plastic, put it into the microwave for a minute, check for doneness, and then add 30 seconds if need be. For the egg bites, I do more of the same. Label it with the product name, the date, a minute, and then add 30 seconds if that. You're usually going to do more than 1 little egg bite at a time, so I just put them into the microwave for a minute, and they're usually perfectly warm. I do about 2 or 3 per serving, and they always turn out great. Alright guys, so we have the breakfast sandwiches down, we have the egg bites in the freezer. Next we're going to assemble the burritos. These are super simple. I use the Mission flour tortillas, soft taco. You don't want those gigantic burritos. I mean, some people do, but this is mostly for kids, so we don't want those gigantic burritos. Let me show you guys how we assemble these. I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese on the bottom, just a little bit, not a lot. A little bit of sausage. Some scrambled egg. And a few tater tots, just like that. And then we're gonna fold, mush back, and roll. I can do better. The first one's always ugly. Oh my God, much better. See that? That's perfect. Let's make the rest. Alright guys, these breakfast burritos work much the same as the other ones. Label your bags as usual, and you're going to remove the plastic from them when you microwave for 1 minute at 30 seconds if they're still cold. I placed them 6 into each bag just so they hold their shape and they're not being smushed up. And if you do have a panini press, you can always heat them up in the panini press so they get that little crispy outside after you've microwaved it for a minute. If not, they're perfectly fine straight out of the microwave. Okay guys, now to prep the French toast sticks. So I have 12 slices of bread here, just regular white bread that I lightly toasted, like they're kind of very, very lightly, just a couple of minutes. There's no real color to it. It's just enough to make it feel like it's stale. I'm going to take each one and I'm going to cut it into thirds. Just like that. If you have Texas toast, that works great too, but we're using white bread. So over here I have the custard base that we made. I'm going to dip it in there, just a quick dunk, and then into our breadcrumb mixture. And then from there, we're going to place it onto a parchment lined baking sheet. And we're done. Let's clean up and I'll show you how to prep them. Okay guys, so now we have our French toast sticks on a tray, ready to go in the parchment. I've left space in between each one. They're not touching, as you can see. So like that, they individually quick freeze. So we're gonna put them into our freezer on the tray, 40 minutes. They should be completely frozen. And then we're just gonna pop them into a zip top bag, write the instructions on it like we've been doing, and they'll be ready to go for breakfast. All right, guys, the French toast sticks are a little bit different. You're gonna wanna bake these at 350 in the oven. You either bake them at 350 in the oven or you do 350 at an air fryer. It'll be 20 minutes in the oven or 5 minutes per side in the air fryer. So halfway through you wanna flip them just so that they get a toasty brown color on both sides. This also depends on the thickness of your toast. Like I said earlier, if you have Texas toast, it's gonna take a little bit longer to cook all the way through than if you have a regular white toast, but it works just the same. You just have to keep an eye on it, make sure that it's not burning, and you'll be perfectly fine. I'm super proud of us today. We've done a fantastic job. We made 24 of our egg bites, and these are labeled, ready to go. We made 12 breakfast burritos, ready to microwave, ready to go. And we made 6 English muffin breakfast sandwiches that are ready to go. And now I'm adding to that our French toast sticks. That's 36 French toast sticks. I think that's pretty great, considering that for the first few weeks of school, I'm not gonna have to worry about making breakfast. It's just a matter of get up, pop this into the microwave while everyone gets up and gets ready and brushes their teeth and combs their hair and just gets started for the day. I think it's a huge help to not be standing over the kitchen in the stove cooking and getting everything ready to go for half an hour before everybody else wakes up. So it's a huge help, and it's something that I'm going to continue doing throughout the year to just give me that little bit of an oomph in the mornings to not have to worry about making a nutritious breakfast for my family. And that will also help save us a lot of money, because we're not going to be scrambling in the morning just in case you overslept or whatever the case may be, that you might want to be tempted to be going through the drive-through. We're eliminating that altogether. So thank you so much. I hope you guys benefit from it as much as we do as a family, together as a community. It's important to help each other out with things like this. So thank you so much for participating with me, for all the love, for all the comments and all the ideas. I appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Try some of these recipes for yourself, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.